Yes, final countdown. We're coming in and this is where we sort of turnkey, go for a drive, go for a tune. There's a few things we still got to do now. Budget-wise, I'm just going to be as quick as I can here. We're on 1940. Yes, we only got $60 there. We're not going to do it. We're probably going to go to 2200 if I had the chance to do the project again. And I have explained a lot of my mistakes. I'll do the whole thing for maybe 1750. So it can be done for $2,000, I think, as long as the car is running by the time we hit maybe the 2200 mark, then we're killing it. Now, okay, let's look at the prices on things left. Only one of these is really like, it's compulsory. The rest is completely optional. We got a fuel cut Defender. Yes, AliExpress, $31.59. I got to show you this one. You're going to have a laugh. Boost gauge, $21, cheapest one. It's electric. Fuel gauge, which is an oil pressure gauge. I'll explain that in a bit. $21.39, AliExpress. The FMU, like I said, these you can get them from $80. The Vortec ones go up to $500. Well, yeah, when they're trying to rip you off. But this, I got this a real bargain just because someone did not want the kit. Fuel injectors, these were secondhand. These are, like I said, these are optional pending the FMU. The hose, I've got a lot of vacuum hose for free. I've just noticed I've got I don't know, you can put a price on it. It's only a few bucks a meter anyways. And the gauge holder at $4.61. So let's look at this stuff right in front of me. This has to be one of the greatest fakes I've ever seen. They literally give you this and this in the package, but they separate them. This is nicely folded. It's got the full HKS instructions, all that stuff. $31. In case I do need it. I'm not sure if the map sensor itself is gonna go into like a spastic mode as soon as it hits over, let's say, whatever, 4.6 volts or whatever they've set it at. Don't use that, that's fine. It's nothing more than a voltage clamp. So even if that doesn't work, I'll go to JCar, get a voltage clamp, maybe clamp and keep turning it down till, there's like a maximum. Now, these two gauges, these are auto gauge. Some obviously bodgy brand, and that's my $4.61. Look at that, the AliExpress description holder. Now, why am I using an oil pressure gauge? As soon as they put fuel pressure gauge, it's the price jumps like 4 or 5 times. And I've noticed a lot of these Chinese kits, and I don't know if it's with all of them, they give you the same pressure sensor. So it means that, so what are you reading? It's like, why are they charging more? I think because generally oil pressure gauges, they're more mass produced, and fuel pressure, not a lot of people want it. So why do I want a fuel pressure gauge? Because if you run the FMU and your fuel reading is going to be hitting 60, 70, 80 psi on the rail, I want to know what's happening. If you're not running an FMU, don't waste your time. Waste the money. Those gauges are optional, not needed. The only thing that's actually needed is the fuel system, and that's why this budget, it will implode past that. But there's a rumor mill on the internet where you can actually run bigger injectors, run a fuel pressure regulator, and the car somehow works. Runs a bit lean, apparently on the very high revs at 7 pound, but actually runs. Now, I'll show you something. These gauges were 52, these injectors were 52.85. Now, I chose these. These were 200 and something cc. 370cc injectors are not any more expensive, especially if you get like the really shady brand new AliExpress or eBay ones or whatever you call them. So what's that mean? Can I still technically turbo the car for $2,000? Yes, because you can get 4 injectors and pray to God that your car does not blow up, or you can get second-hand ones, the 370cc, and maybe dial back the fuel pressure to 30 psi. That might drop the injector to around 200 and maybe like 200 and something high percentage, maybe like 260, 270. Then the car can compensate 20% with its own, like its oxygen sensor. So car run a bit rich, can work. I can see why people make it work. I want to go the FMU path. It's just, I've used it before. Like I've used that setup. So we're not going to use the engine management. That's for a later day or a later project. This is a future cutout valve. That'll be at the front of the car, but that's not a part of the budget. That was cheap. That was like 60 something bucks. It seems pretty well built. We'll see how it lasts with the heat. And This has to be wired in. That is for the exhaust cutout or my backyard poor man's bimodal exhaust. But yeah, I think now I'm going to start working on this car a bit in the day, a bit at night, so the videos might shift a lot. And I still got the exhaust wrap, which I've already put that on the budget. I just need to wrap where the oil drain is, and then we turnkey and we go for a drive, and that's where I'll be, shitting bricks. But that's sort of the fun part as well. That first time you hit boost and you look at the wide band and it just sits right, and you're like, oh, this feels good. And then you start monitoring all the heat and that. And one thing before I forget, we need to wire in. So not only do we have to hook all these up, sorry about this tip being so long. You got the boost gauge. Oh, I got this. I wish I got this black. Do not be surprised if I paint this because everything else is kind of slipperish. We still got a bit of wiring to do. That includes the thermofans, which are still sitting here going, hello. Now the thermofans, I am going to wire them to the factory loom, and I'm going to try to see what the wattage and the amp draw and that. If not, I'll put a relay, send it to the battery. As soon as the factory trigger turns on, it will thinking, oh yeah, I'm going to turn on the factory thermofan. It will trigger the relay. The relay will then basically power both thermofans. Very important. Although you get 5 minutes before you need the thermofan. So if I do forget, I'm going to learn very quickly. So let's get straight into it. We've got a bit to do, but this is kind of the fun part, sort of. And we're going to try to work out where to put the gauges. And yes, in case you're wondering, that's the inline adapter. My brother actually gave me that for free. Fake Anthony. But I did buy one, and it was literally $3. But that one seems to be better than the AliExpress one. You may have seen in a much earlier video. It was this still tiny black one. So let's go for it. Fingers crossed. Let's try to keep it under 2200. Okay, so I'm going to be heaps quick here. Hopefully my head fits in the camera. Big head, Anyways, the FMU is mounted after the return of the fuel pressure regulator. So basically, this is the return line somewhere down here. I'm going to tap it in, and then this then goes to the return to the tank. I do want to bolt it here. Yes, it's on an angle, but that's fine because in the future, if I needed to get access of the discs and pull and basically open it, it gives me good access. It puts it out of the way. It keeps it out of the heat. Now the fuel pressure gauge, I am going to tap it just before the fuel rail. Just basically cut 2 hose clamps, put the adapter, and bolt the sensor in there, which is a 1/8 fitting from what I remember. And as for the boost gauge, it is a map censored one. I wish I bought a JRP one there, but they're $90 a pop. At the time, the whole budget thing was a good idea, but now I'm thinking, I hope it works. We can do a bit of bench testing, but see if we get time. But everything else is pretty straightforward, but I do want to mount this. So I think I'll just put it here. We'll either use self-tapping bolts, self-tapping screws, or nut and bolt. Most likely nut and bolt, but I'll have to be able to access the rear in case I need to take this off. Now, other than that, let's get straight into it, I guess, and hopefully we don't. I just got to check that there's nothing behind here. And just in case you're wondering why have I not taken this off, you got to take the wipers off. There's a cap unbolt them, but then you got to readjust them. I can't be bothered. I'm just going to use self tappers. There's just a bracket here of some sort, but it's hollow, so I'm just going to drill straight into it. Happy days. Okay, what do we have underneath here? We have nothing important. So like I said earlier, that's the fuel return. That has to, from the bottom of the factory regulator, well, the fuel pressure regulator I installed, that has to loop into the in, and then we're gonna get basically just a barb extender, and the return line will plug to the bottom of this. So I'm just going to quickly put this on together, and yeah, let's hope it doesn't leak when it's under pressure. That's the main thing. So technically speaking, now the FMU is installed. I'll show you. Yeah, it's installed. The return lines go to where they have to. The feed. Now we just gotta plumb up the vacuum lines. Remember the 4 ports. Don't ask why these are here. Just like to block them. And now we've got the vacuum hose. We still got to do the blow valve, and we got one provision for the boost gauge. So, and there's still 2 more for the future. As for this, remember this sensor, it's like the normally closed relay pressure switch one piece. So we don't need it yet. If we need it, we use it. If not, like I said, we can make a trick or two with it. Um, so this part's easy. I'm just going to zoom through it. Pretty self-explanatory. And it's starting to rain. Isn't that interesting? Sun 1 minute, rain the next. So yeah, let's quickly plumb that up. So if I do start the car up, we sort of have something that might not make it run fully lean. Hopefully it runs well. But that's good. That's peace of mind. My apologies on the video getting a bit dark. Actually started pouring outside and rain started coming in. I am going to drill a little hole up here just so I can hang the cable tie, so I can put the vacuum hoses out of the way. Just gives it that neater look, I guess. Okay, so this is the last thing we have to wire up. This is the map sensor for the boost gauge. I'm just going to probably put it around here just away from the heat now. I prefer everyone to always run an electric boost gauge, not one that needs a hose going inside the cabin. Reason being is if you get a good one, they're dead accurate. Like this one, not a good one. I wish I bought a JRP one. It's $80, but I'm hoping this one at least reads right. The $80 one used to have a warning, so if it hits a particular boost, it'll start ringing. It's got that where you go back function, replay, and you see what boost you hit, all that stuff, all the bells and whistles. But this one, if it ever fails, very easy to change. Just a matter of a hose, same map sensor on the same wiring, boost gauge on the same wiring. Like that, I'm just running pretty much a single wire inside the cabin for the map sensor. Better than running a hose and all that stuff. And plus, when you're so dead accurate on the amount of boost you have to run, like in the FMU, I want to see 7 pounds. I don't want to see a needle that's either 7, 8, or 9. You know what I mean? So yeah, I'm just going to quickly mount this. The last hose will be put in here, and then bam, then that's that vacuum block done, and then we'll just we'll keep pushing ahead. Okay, so the FMU is in, the map sensor for the boost gauge is in, blower valve hooked up, nice cable tie, it's there, we're ready to go now. Now I just gotta extend the oxygen sensor wire, start putting back some of the plastics. We're getting close to putting the bumper back on. I just want to make sure it fully fits on there. If it needs a bit more like sanding down, grinding on the inside, I'll do that. And then we hit the electronics inside the car and make sure we top up the fluids before we turn it back on, because we lost a bit of oil and a bit of coolant along the way. It's getting there. It's getting close. And look, I just found something random. Oh, look. Cool. So let's just keep pushing ahead. And like I said, we'll do that oxygen sensor first, because we'll get that out of the way, because once we drop the car down, there's not going to be any access to it. If you want your electric tape to not come undone, you always finish it off with the tape finishers with a nice cable tie. I do this in the engine bay a lot, and you know what? It never comes off. And then you just trim that, because that tape won't peel, and everything else is pretty much it's bonded on there. This will go up something like that. We'll try to keep it out of the heat. Okay, so now we want to do the provision for the fuel pressure gauge, which is, remember, it's an oil pressure gauge, but like I was explaining, the sensors seem to be all the same in that. Basically, just going to get one of these 516 barbs, because the fuel line's 516. I'm going to screw that on there. This needs earthing, but I can put a hose clamp and like a wire on it, and that's basically the signal wire. And then that will be just before the fuel rail. So I'll find the spot up there, and like that I can monitor it in the engine bay, especially when you're running an FMU. You want to make sure the thing's working, not over pressurizing, not under pressurizing, all that stuff. Pretty straightforward. Not going to go too much into it, because gauges are optional. This is why some things I've seen I might be going a bit quicker through, because like not everything you have to do. These are the optional bits, So that's just my personal preference. Just going to quickly get that ready, and we'll keep pushing. The oxygen sensor has been wired in. The second one, so hopefully no more check engine light. And yeah, we'll just quickly try to wrap this up, because I really want to get the car on by the end of the week. Now, what I've done here is I've put a hose clamp, and I made my own bracket. Now, this thing does have to be earthed. So now the good thing about the hose clamp being on there is I'm probably going to put it around there, and that should earth it. So then all I got to do is run the signal wire, which is a pretty cool thing to do. I could have just thrown this anywhere, just keep it floating somewhere. But if it leaks, you want to know. If it fails, you want to know, all those stuff. And so yeah, it's a bit of an eyesore. Might even paint it black, but it's pretty good there, because I just need to tap this fuel line as well. So I won't have to add fuel line. I just cut and hose clamp on both sides. Pretty cool. Just like that, it's bolted up. I personally, I'm going to show you, I don't like the color of it. It looks like some contraption or some, I don't know, oven or something hanging on top of the vehicle. But that's okay. Once I wire it in, and now I can disguise it a bit, but it is in a good spot actually, because it's out of the way in case I've got to get to the injector rail and all that stuff. So still future proofing something that might be needed. But yeah, that's cool. Now we just keep going.